Welcome back to Advanced Metabolic Rehab. So, in this section, we are going to talk about gut hormones and inflammation, which are two huge drivers of dysfunction. So, if you're dealing with bloating and gas, you're dealing with constipation or diarrhea, you feel like you get heartburn or it takes forever for food to digest, it feels like it just sits in your stomach. If you deal with joint pain, if you deal with rashes, allergies, even mood related conditions, these can all be signs that you have inflammation and you could be experiencing gut hormone issues. Welcome to the Advanced Women's Health Podcast, where we empower women with the latest insights and advice on holistic health. From cutting edge medical research to practical wellness tips, our mission is to help you thrive at every stage of life. Join us as we explore topics ranging from hormonal balance and reproductive health to nutrition and mental well-being. Whether you're seeking solutions for a specific health concern or simply want to enhance your overall wellness, you're in the right place. Let's embark on this journey to better health together. This is the Advanced Women's Health Podcast. Before we dive into today's episode, I wanted to let you know about some exciting things we have been working on at Advanced Women's Health. So we don't aim to just be excellent at appointments and excellent with the care we give to patients in terms of the protocol. But our goal is cross-clinic excellence. We want to ensure that you are getting the most wonderful onboarding experience, that you feel supported, and that fundamentally you actually are going to implement your plan. We talk about health being a lifestyle, and it is, right? It is something that needs to be modified or shifted. We need to think about things differently. We need to understand our bodies differently. We need to have those education-based aha moments or those community-based aha moments to be able to action what we know to be true and what we know we need to do. And so over the last few years, we have been consistently evolving and trying to give you the best patient care experience possible. And that has resulted in us having our new patient onboarding system. All new patients at Advanced Women's Health now get access to a plethora of resources. We go through educational pipelines and daily tips and tricks that will help you to implement your plan. We have mindset support. We have onboarding coordinators that are there to create community and hold your hand in live QA calls. We offer meal templates and meal plan structures, exercise videos and programs, community challenges, and so much more. And again, this is just included as being part of a patient of Advanced Women's Health. So if you have been on the fence, if you have been hesitating, book with one of our patient onboarding coordinators. We are here to help you pick which practitioner is the best fit for you. And then you can learn more about our onboarding systems and everything else we offer at Advanced Women's Health. So now to the episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Advanced Women's Health Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me as usual. I am really excited to walk you guys through today how we're going to do things a little bit different over the summer. So over the summer, we are on longer road trips. We are outside more much of the time, out on different walks. And I know for me, I love to go down rabbit holes of specific content when I'm out for a walk or in the car. So that's what we are customizing for you. So over the summer, we are going to release 4 videos on our new metabolic rehab system. So I am going to walk you through 4 of the different types of weight loss resistance that we see. We've talked so much on here about insulin resistance, and we have talked in general about hormonal concerns and stress and the gut and perimenopause and menopause and with the liver and how that affects weight. But we really want to dive in and give you guys lots of information on the specifics of those things. We have also just recently launched the Advanced Metabolic Rehab System I actually have our handy dandy book here. So this guide and this system is set up to customize 3 months of nutrition interventions to help you navigate labs. It gives you a ton of education, understanding your pattern type, understanding your labs, understanding how to eat, what is the food insulin demand, and then, of course, giving you specific meal guides and recipes that will help you to step by step be guided in your journey. I also have a reel on this on my social if you guys are interested in seeing more information. But fundamentally, what we're trying to do is go from this place of like, eat less, exercise more, everything's going to be fine, you'll be fine, to a place where people are getting not just the right labs and the right diagnostics, which is really important, but the right understanding of what pattern and what specific level of dysfunction is existing. So if you want to beta test that program right now, my clinical assistants and I are leading all of these groups. So you will meet with one of my amazing, very well trained clinical assistants. I am in those visits, I'm advising on treatments. So you're getting my brain for a much more insignificant cost. And you're also getting the opportunity to walk through this program and get the opportunity to be one of the first people who are going through it in such a structured way. Obviously, we have done metabolic work since I wrote my book. I guess that was like what, 2017? So we're coming on 10 years that we have really excelled and led the industry, I think, in guiding metabolic health. But this program is just structuring it and giving it so much more detail and nuance so that we can ensure that every patient walking through it is getting the most excellent level of care. So over the next 4 weeks, you're going to hear that. Then, as we navigate through the summer, we are going to do a deep dive into fertility and not the topics we typically talk about, right? We're going to talk about how we advance our understanding of fertility because I also have a clinical assistant that is working with me on advanced diagnostics with infertility, unexplained infertility, endometriosis, etc. So you can access my care and again strategy through that program, and we are doing immense amounts of training internally with our team that Dr. Lauren Dingwall, who you've heard talk about fertility on this podcast, and myself are leading. So we are super excited to navigate that. And then we're going to end off the summer with what I am discussing as my core four. So I always joke that it seems like we hit this perimenopause, menopause window, and then there's just these like core four things that everyone seems to need: HRT, Ozempic or semaglutide or tirzepatide or something like that, right? Then they need their protein and their Adderall. And so it's like, why do we have all these women who are now coming in with brain dysfunction and ADHD? They're coming in with weight changes and weight loss resistance. They're coming in with hormonal concerns and they think they need HRT, and sometimes they do, right? And then they're coming in just super confused about how to maintain muscle mass and how to maintain their health and how much protein they should eat. And so we're going to go through again what I sarcastically call the core four. So enjoy today's episode. I hope that you love hearing about the metabolic rehab system. And I am so excited to just take you on a deep dive through fertility and then into midlife as well. So enjoy, and I will talk to you very soon. I am Dr. Sarah Wilson, naturopathic doctor, founder of Advanced Women's and Men's Health, previous obesity and immunology researcher. And the reality is, even when I was doing research, even when I was writing my first book, this was almost a decade ago, right? We knew that what was happening in the gut was dictating whether someone gained or lost weight. So let me walk you through some examples here. Ozempic, Wegovy, tirzepatide, these different medications that have become hugely popular, these are gut hormones. So these are what we call incretin hormone analogs. So what does that mean? That means they look like hormones that our body makes itself. And those hormones are made in our gastrointestinal. So we first started to discover that these hormones were incredibly important when people were having what's called gastric bypass surgery. And what happens in that surgery is essentially you take part of the absorptive surface. So you connect the stomach, you make it smaller, and you connect it to a different area. That surgery has been shown to help people lose weight. But the fascinating thing is that it has been shown to be able to reduce diabetes in the matter of a couple of weeks. People are like not diabetic, they go off their medications. So, for a very long time, researchers were trying to figure out why. This person hasn't even lost weight yet. Yes, they changed their diet, but why all of a sudden are things getting better? And that's because this surgery causes a huge change in incretin hormones. And these, again, are the hormones that we're using in these medications. So there began a huge race to find a medication that we could either take orally or inject that would be able to recreate what that sensation was for people who got gastric bypass surgery and recreate the physiology. And the thing is, I love research and I love science for the sake of science. But the reality is, no one woke up one day and didn't have enough gut hormones. This is a situation that comes up over long periods of time due to yo yo dieting. And the research to find yo yo dieting is less than 1,400 calories per day, just so you know, right? It is not a situation where we're talking about people eating 800 calories per day, which sometimes they're doing. So, if you are eating low calorie for long periods of time, it activates specific systems in the body. It activates metabolic memory. And so our body starts to decompensate. We also know in those situations, people lose a lot of protein and they lose muscle. And so that worsens metabolic health over the long run. And so both of those things cause lowering of these gut hormones. We also know that dietary changes, we know that high fat, high sugar foods, or what we'll talk about as high insulin demand foods, these foods negatively impacted the types of bugs that are in your gut, negatively impact these hormones, and so many more inflammatory influences. The other piece that's very fascinating about when we look at weight management and hormone management at the level of the gut is going back to those bacteria. So, the bacteria, viruses, yeast that live in your gut make up the microbiome, the virome, etc. That's just a fancy term that essentially says the jungle that lives within. So we are more bacteria than we are human cells. And those bacteria have a huge impact on our bodies. They impact how many calories we extract from our foods. Crazy. They affect how our body makes gut hormones and how our body tells the system using those hormones, because hormones are just messengers. So they affect the messages about whether we should store fat or whether we should burn it, which is fascinating. They also are going to affect the general state of insulin. So, back to type 1, when you have a high level of insulin or your cells are not responding well to the signal of insulin, your body thinks it's starving and it stores, 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 stores. We get stuck in this state where we try to lock everything away as a protective mechanism. But the reality is, so often our body thinks it's doing the best and it's trying to protect us from our environment, but we're not in an environment or a situation where we actually go through fasting, where we actually get breaks. And so people get stuck in these loops of dysfunction. If you're like many of our patients that are struggling with your health, then you have looked into one of many, many, many programs online. There are programs with doctors, with naturopathic doctors, with functional medicine practitioners, with nutritionists, with people who have been through what you are experiencing. There are so many options available online. But the reality is, a lot of these programs are not medically guided. When you sign up, they say right away, this is not personalized to you. This is not personalized to your labs. I can't diagnose you, which is a huge limitation. They're also very costly. Many of these programs are $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 for a 3-month program. And that leads to you, one, not getting the best standard of personalized care, and two, spending money that you may not have to. And that's where our clinically guided programming has come in place. I have wanted forever to be able to give people an educational system, a week by week guide, an exact system so that you know what you're expected to do, what you're expected to eat, and how you're expected to navigate week over week over week over week. And I have been working with my team, my clinical teams, my clinical assistants to be able to roll out structured programs for you that are in the hundreds, not thousands of dollars. We are so excited to launch our advanced metabolic rehab, our fertility programming, and so much more upcoming. If you are interested in learning more about our structured and clinically guided programs, make sure you reach out to the clinics, info@advancedwomenshealth.ca. They will connect you with one of our clinical assistants and guide you through what programming might be best for you. The best thing is that these are in and above your appointment. So you are having your naturopathic visits, your acupuncture visits, and then we are layering on top a supported experience that allows you to utilize extended benefits should you have them, but that also allows you to get, again, a highly tailored medical environment. So reach out to us if you have more questions. And now back to the episode. A crazy study that was done showed that if you take the microbiome, so the bugs of a lean person, and give them to an obese person, they do it through a fecal transplant, which is kind of gross and we won't talk about here. But if you do that, you can see rapid weight loss in the obese person. We also know, because you can't ethically do this in humans, that in mice, if you take the obese bugs, like they're the bugs from an obese mice, and put it in a lean mouse, that lean mouse will gain weight. So these bugs are affecting the actual hormones in our body that are controlling if we store or lose fat. The other thing that they're doing is really dramatically affecting cravings. We know that those bugs, because again, there's more of them than there are us, send signals to our brain that tell us to eat like high density foods. So that's high fat, high sugar foods, which cause a very high amount of insulin release, which causes lots of fat storage. But these cravings that people are experiencing, this food noise, can be from the bugs that are in your system, which is fascinating. The other thing we know to be true is that 60 to 80% of the immune system sits in the gut. And so the types of bugs that are in your gastrointestinal tract are dramatically impacting inflammation levels. And when your body is inflamed, right, our immune system's job is to save our life. It's to protect us against bacteria, viruses, etc. So our body thinks there's something to protect us against, and it uses our immune system to create inflammation to try to deal with it. The issue is, if it's the bugs in your gut that are causing the inflammatory reaction, then they're not going anywhere anytime soon. The issue is, if your fat cells have actually turned into inflammatory cells, they're not going anywhere. And so we end up in modern societies in this state of chronic low grade inflammation. And that chronic low grade inflammation dramatically impacts our metabolism. We know that, again, based on the types of bugs that live in your system, they can release a little compounded inflammatory compound. It's called LPS. The more bugs you have that create this LPS, the more that gets into your bloodstream, the more that causes anxiety and depression, the more that can cause rashes and allergies, and the more that can cause a variety of metabolic issues, meaning it affects how and where you store them. It also affects your liver, which has a metabolic pattern all its own. So, if you're in a situation where you are feeling a lot of the symptoms that I talked about, you're dealing with weight loss resistance and you're trying to figure out how to navigate out of it, feel like Ozempic's your only option, or you don't want to go in that direction, then we have lots of options. We always have to start first and foremost with understanding your food insulin demand pattern. We also then have to do some testing. So you can test erythrocyte sedimentation rate, or ESR. You can test C-reactive protein, or CRP. You can test urate, which is all very inexpensive markers that can tell us about systemic inflammation and can tell us about the types of bugs that are in your system and how they're interacting with your metabolism. Fascinating. And based on that, again, we're not guessing. We can very much personalize a plan. Do you need antimicrobials? Do we need to kill some of the bugs that are living in your system? Do you need anti-inflammatories? This is where we look at all different herbs, right? And they're very personalized to you. For some people, we're going to be looking at berberine. For others, we're going to be looking at nigella or black cumin seed. For some people, we actually need to thicken the lining and support the immune system that way. And so we're using herbs like resveratrol, we're using glutamine and acetylglucosamine, and so much more. So there are hyper personalized plans that we can put into place when we understand what what your immune system's doing, the types of symptoms you have, and we are able to then customize a plan specific to you. That is why I honestly have put together metabolic rehab and why it is a huge piece of the advanced women's health success system. Because for so many people, the majority of their symptoms are coming from the fact that their body can't efficiently and effectively use and store energy, that they are inflamed, that they are experiencing systemic symptoms because of gut issues. And they think taking a probiotic or eliminating foods based on a food sensitivity test is going to solve all their problems. And newsflash, it's not. Okay. We need comprehensive approaches because these types of patterns can be fixed with diet and lifestyle and supplements. But we very much need to understand what they're doing first. So I cannot wait to continue to walk you through these different types of patterns and help to put together examples so that you can see you are not alone. If you feel broken, the reality is it's not you that's broken. It's the system that's telling you that your labs are normal when they haven't tested things. And it's people who aren't using the research to customize a plan specific to your body. So until the next video, have a great day, and I cannot wait to support you further.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope that you had as much fun as we did. And if you loved today's episode, share it with a friend and leave us a review. That is how we spread this message, and that is how we are going to revolutionize healthcare in Canada for women. Have a beautiful day and be well.